Hello everyone, today in this session I will discuss some point regarding the SQL and PLSQL, how you can practice on the both SQL and PLSQL. So I'm sharing with you. So here inside it, this is the SQL developer. I again was saying that we download this application so that it will proper insight and proper attention for running the queries. So from this, if I try to give you some basic pointer, how can you do if some person had so for that I'm just making this video insightful and fruitful. So let's create. I have some tables like, for example, I have table is employee table. So I will run it and you see these data at present I have. Some data I put after made this table and some data that previously I defined during the declaration part. So this is the select star from employee very basic point. If you want to see a definition of this table, so how you can definition employee. So you can see for this command. Now you can see employee ID is not null. Number type, name, where department number, salary, manager ID, joint date, and city. So employee ID is not null, and this is the primary key that we are taking. So we have the things like primary key. So firstly, step by step, I will explain properly. Primary key. Primary key always there is a two type of thing: unique key or primary key. In the interview purpose, they will definitely ask what is the difference between primary key and unique key. So primary key is like it is not null. Firstly, second, it is only one. It is only one in table, not more than one primary key is we can make in a table. Unique key, we can make more than one unique key in the table. Like we can make employee ID is a unique, name is also unique, department is also unique. So more than one variables can be unique. Primary key always one. What about foreign key? Foreign key is like your. I have two tables. For example, I have one table this and the next table is department. Okay. So now in the department and in the department table I have also a department column. So that department table, department column is connected to the employee table. So this is the foreign key of the employee table. Okay. And in the different type, like if I'm taking employee ID inside the employee and also I'm taking employee ID in the department table, so that is calling here the foreign key, that is link between two tables. Okay, so this is the foreign key. So when we are connecting two tables to each other, so after the connection you cannot directly delete the connected table. Firstly you delete that table which previously define that column, and after that you delete connected table, because if you directly delete the connected table, it will give the error. Okay, so that is also important. And there is a thing that I'm just declaring something that I put here. After that, if I'm applying some operation on it, so that is the select star from employee. Firstly, I just run it. So let's see what is the output. This is the output I want. If I apply and select star from employee, where these are clauses. We have a lot of clause. Select where, group by, having. So clause I also explained where. This is the condition that I'm giving. Where name for just a simple language, the salary is less than equal to 80,000. Just very simple. Okay. Just take very simple. So I'm just giving here. So these the employees that the salary is less than 80,000. After that, we have close. Close, we have select close that I already told you. And we have where close. Where close means I am giving the condition inside the query. Okay. And group by. Group by close means grouping the function, like sometimes we want grouping the function, like how many type of how many employees connected to single HR department, so that we are making the group of the name to related HR department, so that on that condition we are using grouping. I think if you familiar with SQL and some database related, so you easily get the point what I'm saying. Having is working on the aggregate function. So there is a difference. Again, they will ask you what is the difference between where or having clause. Where clause work on the single data type, single variable. Like I just apply where salary is less than 80,000. So here what is I'm doing? I'm just taking the single variable, and after that I'm applying the condition on it. If I don't have a single variable inside it, I don't have a single variable. I'm just applying the grouping function. So for grouping function like aggregate function. What is the aggregate function? So I'm just putting here aggregate functions. Aggregate functions I have like average, count, sum. These are the aggregate function, so we cannot calculate the aggregate function by the where clause, because yes, it is only calculating the condition only single variable instead of multiple things. So in that condition we are using the having clause. So first difference is where clause always used for single variable condition, but grouping thing if you want to apply the aggregate function, so we use the having clause. Always remember, having clause work after the group by. Always. Having clause follow the group by. Okay. Then I have order by like you want to order your name, salary in an ascending or descending order any. So in that case, we are using this. So I'm just taking some examples to relate it. Okay. So firstly, this. Secondly, I apply that duplicate variable I have an auto select salary count. So this is the aggregate function. Okay, count from employee. Okay, group by salary having count this. So I just calculate. So you can see these the grouping. I'm grouping the salary. So 80 salary is How many employees has 80,000 salary? Three employees. So I'm just grouping the employees here. Okay. It is counting the more than one employees. So you can understand why I'm saying aggregate function. More than one variable I'm counting. So in that case, I'm taking the having clause always instead of where clause. You can also try to put here order by order by salary in ascending. By default, it always give you ascending in ascending output, but if you want to apply, so you can give the descending output also. If you take this, it will give you sorry proper order by property. Firstly, you have to focus on running queries. Don't focus on that like your query will run and not, because when you will not start your query practice, you definitely will stuck during the interview also. So firstly, you have to focus on practice. Second question, it is the more than one. For example, for very let me just clear one small example. Devil. So what is the devil? Devil is a single row and column table. This is the tool we are using whenever we don't have a own table. So we generally fetching the data inside the table. For example, I don't have any table, so I want to search today date. So SYS date is date. This is the calculating formula of the today date from table. Okay, so you can calculate today date. What is the today date? So this is the 22 date 2026. Okay, alias. What is the alias means? Alias means in another any dummy name of the column. Like here is you can see the name is as well as the state. It's what I want to fetch a same column. It will giving to outside. I want to take that here instead of the state. I want to show here is a today date. So how I do this? Select state as today date from there. So this is the alias. Okay. So now you can print. You can see today date. So as like you can also practice more on this. I'm just giving very simple to simple queries related it. Okay. So now you can, if you want to count some of the salary, some of the salary as a result, I'm giving alias from employee table. Okay, so all the sum of the salary will come here. You can see the sum of the salary is coming here. So it's like you can do lot of practice. So I am just giving you one thing inside it. Firstly, that your counting the reverse name. Like I have the employee table, so I want to reverse the name of the all employees. So how you reverse function? You just reverse and then name as a result from employees. So just simply you just reverse all the employees name. This is the very simplest thing that you can give. In the PLSQL, if you know about the PLSQL, and I know that I'm going in the very advanced thing. I will also share basic to basic at the daily basis. Just I'm sharing a one thing also that you can also compare with. Declare I have two string, first string name. Okay, that for example, any name you can give like Rohan, you can give Rohan. The if you want to reverse any string, so in that case you can also see what the syntax and how I'm using the syntax in PLSQL. So this is the simple. I will reverse at the begin. Then apply for loop inside it and one two reverse like till they reverse length of VSTR. Okay, so till that I will give after that I apply the loop and then I'm just saying V reverse is equal to V reverse. Estimate. I'm just saying what I declare inside that. Mm, so now this is the here, reverse function that I have to use. This is service string, service string, the VSTR, I will explain to you, and then TPMS output or output line, VRUs, then in the loop, and so wait a minute. So this is the diagram, welcome, sorry. Here this is the string that I'm using here. This is the reverse is printing and long. So you can see that is the pyramidal form that is printing here. It's very nice, I think. So if we are taking it as outside, so that means when we will print only single. So you see that uh, practice is important because at first time when I was saying that and I thought like I will just share with you so that you also understand the reverse function during any interview so you can just page by page but sometimes they do ask okay so if you printed the reverse name in the SQL query so same thing you do by the PLSQL so how you can do that by this so in that case, you have to do this proper example and you should know and remember every step that I'm studying right now. So same thing happening during the interview also. So just take the example and one thing that I want to show service string. Service string. Service string what is it is giving the string length, how much you want to take the length. Like select service string from the employee name. I want to take one indexing starting from 1 to 3. Only 3 character I want to take as a result from employee. So you can see result here. What it will be was. You can see only 3 characters reflecting. So same thing. The string that's I'm putting here every time it will reflect and starting from n that a that taking starting to last. Okay. Hope you get the point. You have any doubt, please ask. And so that I also take and get the point where you are studying. And if you are interested, and I can continue about the PLSQL and SQL or actually related part that is maybe very interesting for all of you and learn more. Because database is everywhere and every company generally taking these responsibilities and some role also related the database. So if we have good commands, so we can apply data analyst and Power BI related in every Excel related. So we just get to know. And firstly, in SQL developer, how you can download simply you go on the Audible and any Chrome website that you want to download. Just type the download SQL developer. You download that, and after that, what you do? You have to also download a Oracle database 26 version related the platform so that you can make a password and enter during your connections inside the PLSQL developer. So if you want to download that, you can also comment so that I will share how can you download and how can you start your SQL development.